Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about intuition versus fear and also our clairs, and when we are receiving psychic information or messages from spirit versus our intuition versus what is fear. So we'll start with intuition, just kind of describing what that is. Intuition can be described as kind of like the introduction to your psychic gifts. I would consider it psychic information. It's very similar to clairsentient, so the sensing, and then also the claircognizant knowing. So intuition might look like a feeling like I should call a friend. And then you call them and they were like, oh, I was thinking of you too. I think it's a little more unsure as your clairs are. Clairs are very direct, clear information. Intuition seems to be a little bit more vague, a little bit more like a gut feeling or sensing, but not really like 100% sure why or anything. So another example would be you're working on a problem for work or any type of problem, and then all of a sudden the solution just like comes to you. So it's a little bit channeled information. I think people could argue that it is very similar to your psychic ability. It is a psychic ability. You are receiving information, it could be from your guides, it could be from just sensing energy. It's somehow you are sensing something that is unseen. I would say consider that somewhat of a psychic ability. So it's very close and similar. Now, the difference between your intuition and psychic abilities is that the psychic abilities are a little bit more fine-tuned. We can very much determine which senses we are using to receive information, and we are receiving information purposefully, like consciously, and that is our purpose when we're sitting with somebody. So clairvoyance would be you're seeing information. So a lot of times people will see information in their dreams and before they fall asleep, or when they're just in the day. So that could be like images, or it could be like a movie playing in front of you. It could be very vague. It could be very detailed, just depending on everybody's clairs are different and everybody's abilities are different and more advanced in different areas. So okay, and the next clair is clairaudience, so that we're actually hearing things. This could be thoughts, it could be your own voice, and it's using your ears to hear. So that it also could be internal, and it also could be external, actually hearing something. So everyone experiences that differently. There's clairsentient, which is a feeling. So you might feel like what they're feeling. You might feel their like pain in your body, or like your energy shifts. That's clairsentient. Claircognizant is just a knowing, and I think it's very much so that I think this is similar to intuition, but claircognizant is just like a matter of fact. I know this for sure. Intuition is just a little bit unsure. We're not sure. We just have this feeling, this urge. And clair salient is the smelling, and then there's clair gustance, which is tasting. So those are our clairs, which are very specific to our, and I think there's even more possibly as we like fine-tune things, but as you can see, it's just a little bit different. It's so nuanced though that like the term intuition versus psychic, I think, can be almost interchangeable these days, but it's just depending how you view it. I think intuition is a little bit more of an introductory into your clairs though. It's just a little bit of a sensing. It's a little bit of unsureness, and it could be your spirit guides, it could be the universe, it could be your higher self even. It could be a nudge from, or you could be sensing the other person's energy, even their thoughts, and you're receiving that information. So Yeah, clairs are just a little bit more specific. And so it's so important to understand when we are receiving a message, or whether that be intuitive or from your psychic, from your clairs, versus fear. So when we are actually receiving psychic information or intuitive information, it is zero emotion attached to it. It's neutral. There's no anxiety behind it. There's no worry. There's no story even. It's just like matter of fact and very clear and very neutral about it. So when we are in fear, there's feelings behind it. There's anxiety, there's worry, that there's thoughts. An example of this would be like somebody saying like, I don't want to step on that, I don't want to go on that high bridge because I'm afraid. You know, something's telling me not to go on that bridge, but they're really afraid. That's why. That is not your intuition. That's just fear. That's fear holding you back. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not intuition. Intuition would be like, there's something telling me to stop at this store for a moment, you know, before I go to this event. For whatever reason, you run into somebody that you know there, and you know, that's like, you don't know why. There's no really feeling attached to it. There's no worry like, oh, I'm going to run out of gas. Very different situation. That's logic. That's you're using just logic, and you're in, you know, predicting because you have low gas. So yeah, so it's important to distinguish when we are in fear though versus intuition or messages from spirit. Messages from spirit are very clear. It's very quick, and it's very matter of fact. Any messages that have any attachment of fear, that is not from spirit. That is not even from an entity or anything. That's your own fear. So it's important to recognize that, because we can kind of get lost in that fear. And we can kind of listen to it as well and follow that. And we don't want that, because that doesn't feel that great. That also holds us back. It might cause us to do harmful things. Like, that is a sign that we need to stop listening to our brains and get into our body and get more in. Just because intuition comes from being in our body, not in our minds. When we are in our minds, the ego takes over and the stories start to perpetuate and guide us. That is a clear sign that we need to stop what we're doing and not listen to what the thoughts are saying to us, and then go to practice. So for me, that's yoga. I love a vinyasa class. It really gets me out of my head, gets me into my body, gets me more in tune with my intuition, all those good things. I'm feeling safe. I'm also feeling calm, at ease. Messages can come through clearly. But as soon as I start to get worked up, or like, you know, even just a little bit afraid, even with the work that I do, there is fear that pops up. That's a signal for me to go back to my practice and really get back into that center place where there is no, there's very neutral and there's not a lot of stories going on. So yeah, I think it's just so important going forward for us to start diving into our own thoughts and who we are, and investigating and realizing when it's us, when it's not, when is fear playing out in our lives. People might not even be realizing that they are lost in their thoughts, and there's a whole different way of living without using your thoughts or listening. Your thoughts aren't guiding you anymore. It's your intuition. It's just like, you know, your creativity, or you know, your beingness that's guiding you. So I hope this helps clear things up for you, especially if you are new to this and you are stepping into more of your intuitive nature, your intuitive side, maybe your psychic gifts. This can be helpful as you're starting to learn and use them, is understanding fear a whole lot more on a different level, and knowing that They're made up. It's not true. Obviously, if we are in danger, that's definitely something we have to listen to. But knowing and just discerning when to listen to our thoughts and when not to, that is a skill, and that is something so important that we have to learn. So I hope that you found this helpful.